Hi, welcome back to the farm. It's early morning and I'm going to bring you along on my chores in the high tunnel. First thing I have to do is get it opened up. It's cool right now, but it's going to get hot fast when the sun hits it. That's opening both end doors and cranking up the sides. I like cranking this one up. I get to smell the lemon balm while I'm doing it. All right, first on my list this morning is picking tomatoes. And if you notice, it's a little bit dark in here. We have the shade cloth on because it actually can get too hot in here. Tomatoes and peppers like heat, but not too much. So
let's show what happens to the leaves.
Well, they can start curling if they get too much. That was before we put the shade cloth on. The ones up top are after we put the shade cloth on. They just do much better. As you can see, they're doing very well. They're clear up to the top of my string. So I'll have to soon start training them probably across to another wire. Have them go kind of horizontal.
So how do you know when to pick the tomatoes?
Well, we do two different ways. The cherry tomatoes I pick when they're pretty close to red. But the other ones I pick when they're what's called blushing. Let's see, where's a good example? See, I should have done this yesterday. Some of them are beyond blushing. Right here is a blushing tomato. He's just starting to get red on the bottom, okay? And we do that for a couple reasons. Number one, it keeps them from cracking. Sometimes, especially the heirlooms, when they get really mature, they'll crack. And two, it keeps bugs and everything else from getting to them. So we take them in the house, controlled temperature, and they cure nicely, and they taste just like vine ripened. So it's the best way to do it.
Really, nothing good happens
when they're left on the whole time. All kinds of bad stuff can happen.
Yeah, and they're not any better.
No. And if you notice, I have to go through the jungle to try to find the tomatoes. This is Nasturtium. It's supposed to help keep pests away. I have never had Nasturtium go this insane. I mean, it's beautiful and I love it, but it's a little out of control.
No, you can eat that too, right?
Oh yeah. You put it in salads, and I think there's some medicinal things, but it has a very peppery taste to it. I mean, it's good, but it is definitely a peppery taste to it. But It's everywhere. So, I mean, my whole garden right now is a little bit of a jungle, but it's kind of how I like it. So I'll start with the cherry guys.
Beautiful mess.
It is. That's kind of like my gardening style, beautiful mess.
Yeah.
All right, so first are cherry tomatoes. Today will be the first day I have tomatoes offered at the farm stand. That's exciting.
So, and the date today?
What is it? July?
Is it 12th?
Might be, yeah, 12. On the farm, every day is pretty much the same. You kind of lose track. I'll be glad when these guys get done and the things are a little higher up, because right now a groundhog, if he got in here, could just eat all these tomatoes.
Yeah.
Now here's one I should have picked probably a couple days ago because he did split. And I'm irrigating the same amount every day. They're getting controlled irrigation.
But that's an heirloom.
It's a brandywine. And so far, I've never grown brandywine before, but so far, a lot of them have split. So I need to pick them when they're blushing before they have any chance to split. Here's some little guys. And see, he's beyond blushing. I've been working on weeding and doing some other stuff and been ignoring my tomatoes. Oh, here's a beautiful Cherokee purple.
All right, what kind of tomatoes are these?
These are Rutgers. They just give you a nice shape, not too big, slicing tomato. And see, he's perfect. He's blushing. These guys I should have picked a couple days ago. I would have preferred to pick them. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. I just would prefer to pick them earlier. Two at once. And if you notice, I do single stem my tomatoes up a string. Once in a while, I do two stems up strings. That guy there has two different stalks going up. But then I'll have to fertilize him extra. And one more blushing one. Let's see, I don't see any more on that row. All right, along with picking tomatoes, I also have to do some tomato maintenance. They have grown since I worked on them last. And I usually do 3 things. First of all, I usually try to clip off the bottom branch.
Why do you do that?
Well, number 1, they can get diseased being so close to the ground. And 2, they don't really need it. It helps the bees see it better.
And now there's no fruit on those, right?
No, there's no fruit on those. But there's fruit on this. I gotta be careful I don't clip that off.
Yeah.
Now, looking for suckers. Right here are 2 suckers. Suckers come out, here's the main branch, and then the side branch. And the sucker comes out in what's called the armpit of the tomato. So this is an armpit, and here's a sucker. He's out.
Okay.
And these guys are out.
Where?
Right there. They were in 2 different armpits.
Okay.
And as you can see, this one has grown this much since I clipped it up last time. So it's time to put another little clip on this
you're
guy.
not talking about with the scissors, you're talking
Put these little support things to hold it.
support clips.
Yeah, it holds it to the string. So now he will not fall over and break. He's supported up there and he can just keep growing taller and taller and taller.
Okay, so it doesn't support the weight
No.
of the tomato, it just keeps it from leaning or falling.
Yeah, it keeps it from falling over and breaking off. Plus, when this side's up, I can get some doozy winds through here. So it really protects it from moving too much and things snapping off. But it's amazing how fast suckers and things can grow. Like this guy has 2 of them up here already. And yes, I need a step stool in here at this point. They get so tall, I'm climbing on ladders or step stools to do this. And look, here's one I missed. Look at this.
Where?
This is a sucker that I've been missing. Let's see, where does he start? Right there.
Let's see that whole branch.
This is a sucker, and yes, they do start putting on tomatoes. And we take off suckers and do single stem because yes, you might get a few fewer tomatoes, but they're bigger. And it's a healthier plant. It gets more ventilation. It's just better for the tomatoes. Now I can actually take him and stick him in the ground. And if he stays watered, he'll root, and that's a new tomato plant.
So you can tell that's a boy?
I don't know. I think all my tomatoes are boys.
Okay.
The flowers are probably girls.
All right. Makes sense to me.
I'll show you one where I stuck it in the ground and it rooted.
Okay.
It's right behind you and it's growing really well.
Hopefully I'm not stepping on it.
No, I would yell at you if you were.
Okay. So what's that?
That is one of these little suckers that I stuck in the ground last week.
Where?
Right there. Among the jungle of Nasturtium.
Okay.
And he rooted and he's growing.
It looks very healthy.
So it is. As long as you get them pretty deep in the ground. He was a big sucker, so this big one I just clipped off would be ideal for sticking deep down in the ground because any part of the tomato that's underground will root. If you put the whole thing under the ground, it would shoot off roots from every part of the stem. So if I can get him down about that deep, he'll turn into another beautiful tomato. And I think it's a cherry tomato, just cut it off of. So free tomato plant. It's not good to let suckers get that big, but if you have them, you might as well use them.
You have pretty good balance up there.
I do like the wider step stool. Now he's to the very top of the wire, so the next time I clip, I'll probably be taking some strings actually across the entryway here. I'm not sure which direction I'll go, if I'll go that way or that way, but he'll be growing horizontally for the rest of the season.
So you have that clip holder you put on there.
Yep, that's holding him up to the top now. So he's safe.
So tell me again why you like it in the morning out here better?
Because it's not 100 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it. I love mornings anyway.
Yeah.
But to work in the tunnel, you almost have to do it in the morning because it gets really toasty in the afternoon. So morning is definitely tunnel time.
So tell me something.
What?
Do cameramen get time and a half for working so early?
Oh, yeah. Especially cameramen that aren't morning people.
Yeah.
He was very sweet to get up super, super early for me today. See, for me, it's a delight to get up early. It's just, I don't know, everything seems fresh, clean. The birds are chirping, everybody's happy. This definitely gets more challenging when they're higher up. Now see, this guy up here still has a sucker already, right off the bat.
So these are indeterminate. They'll grow
Yes.
as tall as you have
If we
provision.
weren't in a place that got cold in the winter, they just grow and grow and grow and grow. Now some people, and I might have to do this someday, do a system called lower and lean, where the tomatoes are tied up to a single stem, but they have like a pulley system where they can lean them and lower them, and they just keep growing.
So why
and
do
growing
you
and
use
growing.
indeterminate instead of?
Well, most of the best tomatoes are indeterminate. That's just the kind they are.
Huh?
I think a lot of the determinate ones I use are mainly my sauce tomatoes.
So the
My-
bush ones are called, yeah,
yes,
determinate.
Determinate. They grow to a certain height, give all their tomatoes, and then die. They don't get any taller. These would go indefinitely. I think these two right here might get the prize for the tallest.
So what's up next?
I'm pulling some carrots. I had these in here since early spring. I wanted to see how early I could start them in here. And I already picked one whole row of them. This is the second row. And there's a few beets left. I think I'm gonna let them go even longer. I get bigger. I picked the biggest ones out and got quite a few beets. So these are some stragglers, but I'll let them go a little bit. But the carrots are starting to get in my way, so they're coming out. Look at that, that's a nice one.
Well, let's see that one.
Look at him, he's beautiful.
Ah, cool.
Now that's a double. I didn't thin them, so he kind of grew together. Oh look, two. There's another perfect one.
Bet you could do an art display of some funky carrots. and
Odd-shaped carrots.
It could probably be in a modern art museum.
Well, we've been working on our soil. This is only the third year in the tunnel, so there's still some rocks, still some pebbles, and it makes carrots split, grow weird, grow around them. You know, you get some nice ones, but as the soil gets better and better, how about that one? That's a carrot.
Nice.
So get these out of the way, then I can see the cucumbers better. Ooh. They're entertaining.
Not necessarily beautiful market quality.
Some of them. But they're all delicious.
Oh, they are.
I can sell the perfect ones at the farm stand and we'll eat the not perfect ones.
And they all taste the same.
Yes, they do. I should make some carrot cake, some carrot salad. Ooh, just some steamed carrots with a little bit of butter and honey. Woo, woo, woo. Sometimes I throw a little orange juice in there too.
Yeah, you sound like the Bubba Gump of carrots.
What's that?
You sound like the Bubba Gump of carrots.
Hey, when you grow your own vegetables and they all come do it once, you find lots of ways to fix them.
So how do you know when they're ready for picking?
Sometimes it's a judgment call, you know? But big enough that it makes a nice looking slicing tomato. You definitely want to get them before they get too big. If you let them ripen on the vine and get too big, the plant will stop producing cucumbers. By picking them, you're telling it you need to produce more. You haven't produced a seed yet, you need to keep producing fruit. Oh, he's a weirdo, but he'll taste good. Looks aren't everything in vegetables.
Okay, these cucumbers are different. They're smaller. Why is that?
These are actually pickling cucumbers. And it's personal preference how big you want these. If I were making little sweet gherkins, I'd pick them pretty small. But I'm going to be making
let's
those.
look at these.
What's that?
Let's look at these.
They're actually called Boston pickling cucumbers. They're specifically for pickling.
So they don't grow as big, or you just pick them sooner?
You just pick them sooner. They're a little different. I think the seeds aren't as prominent or something.
Okay.
And to be honest, I also pickle regular cucumbers. The kind of pickles I make, I can kind of use anything. Oh, there's one.
So are
See
you
the-
breaking the rules?
They hide. Don't I always? They hide behind the leaves. Sometimes you do miss one and they get, like this guy's hiding among.
Where?
Look, he's hiding in the marigolds. So I almost missed him. Anybody else down there? No. Now this guy, see, if I was making certain kind of pickles, I would pick him if I was pickling him in one piece. But mine are chopped, so I can let them get a little bigger, and then I just chop them up for my pickles. I make the delicious Joyce sweet pickles. Recipe given to me by a friend named Joyce. Now I'm looking down in the jungle, making sure there's none down there I'm missing.
So these are zinnias, right?
These are zinnias, yes. Aren't they beautiful?
So how do you know which one, what are you wiggling for? How do you know which ones to pick?
If you wiggle it and the stem is really stiff and tight, it's ready to pick. If you pick it when they're like, oh, where's a wiggly one? Like that, see how he wobbles? That stem is loose and that would snap so easy. So you don't pick them.
So it won't stand up to be worked in a
it wouldn't last in a
bouquet.
vase, and I'd probably actually break it while I was putting it in the vase. They just are not strong enough to make it. So you wait until they don't wiggle, then they're mine. So yes, wiggle and pick. But this, to me, is probably the most fun job in the tunnel. Picking the flowers. I love flowers. And I love
you probably wouldn't be the only one who thought that.
Yeah, true. I love having fresh flowers in the house. It just feels, I don't know, amazing.
Well, you do sell a lot of them in the farm
I do
stand.
sell a lot, yes. But it's kind of nice doing this job because if you don't sell them all, guess who gets fresh flowers in the house?
Yeah.
So I never mind if they don't sell, you know?
Why don't you put a pitch in for your Friday special?
Oh, Fridays and Saturdays I do something really cool. I do the make your own bouquet. I just have buckets and buckets of flowers out there, and women come and just pull what they want and make their own bouquet. And they like doing that. Now see, he's bored or not. Oh, look, see, this is what happens when they're not ready. I wiggled him a little too hard.
You wiggled the stem too hard?
Yep. Poor guy. Poor guy.
Fractured stem, that's awful.
Yep. Luckily, I have a lot of other ones. There's a nice one. I like that color. I'm not usually an orange person, as I've talked about before, but that salmon color is just beautiful. It looks great with some like mint green things. Oh, it's beautiful. I like my zinnias, can you tell?
So why do you have strings still hanging down in this row?
Well, last year I had cucumbers. No, it was tomatoes in this row. And next year I'll probably have tomatoes or cucumbers or something over here that'll need strings. So I didn't want to cut them all down and waste it, so they're tied up. And next year I'll untie them and I'll use them. Now, ideally, my zinnias, what I might have to do in the future is to tie them up, because you see some of them are falling over clear into the aisle. They do get very long and leggy and they can't support themselves sometimes, and I lose some.
Okay, so I understand why you like cucumbers and tomatoes in the high tunnel. Why do you do flowers in the
They
high
say
tunnel?
they get a little bit longer stem, plus I can start them early.
Oh.
They were in here before I could put anything in the garden. So this is like my first crop of zinnias, but I have another row going out in the garden that'll be due probably to pick in
In the market garden
another
you
month,
do?
3-4 weeks. What's that? In the market garden, yeah. But this is, in the tunnel is always my first crop of zinnias. And it just feels good to plant flowers outside in the spring.
So those nasturtium down there, they just hang out and look nice.
Yes. And supposedly keep bugs away. If they keep bugs away, if they really work like they're supposed to, there won't be a single bug within 10 miles of here.
All right, you got certainly plenty of them.
Oh man, it's unbelievable. I feel bad stepping them on them, but they're everywhere. And it doesn't seem to hurt them. They just keep growing and keep thriving. They're happy little nasturtium.
Seems cruel to pull all those leaves off.
Yeah, but you can't have leaves when you have it in a vase. The leaves would just make the water yucky. So you remove all leaves from the stem. So they're just a simple, naked zinnia. Sorry, you're gonna be naked. And I put them in water right away. And if you notice, I have my tomato in here, that sucker I cut off. He's in water right away, just so he stays alive until I can figure out where to plant him. Or I might call a friend whose tomatoes didn't do well. She'd be starting off with a nice little tomato plant.
Nice.
So I'll see if she wants it. If not, I'll plant him somewhere. Now, I love this part. I mean, I love zinnias, but these snapdragons are just stunning. I have never had success with snapdragons until this year. And I've had almost too much success. You see, they're like, I've planted them here, one at the edge of the garden, the tunnel, to look pretty, but they're kind of crowding out my peppers. So I'm cutting them because I need them for flowers, but also cutting them to get them away from my peppers.
Okay, so let's look at the peppers. Where are they?
Oh, the peppers are down here between the jungle of Nasturtium and the jungle of snapdragons. Right here is a beautiful pepper. And these are the cherry peppers that turn red. You buy them in the store and they're pickled and are stuffed with like a cream cheese something filling. Oh. I am hoping to grow them and make them this year. I love those things.
So you got to be a pretty smart bee or a pest to be able to get around all those flowers.
Well, the thing is the flowers are drawing them in. They come in for the flowers and oh, there's flowers on here too.
Oh, okay, but you're not worried about...
No, because I'm getting peppers. They're definitely getting pollinated. Now somehow I got a jalapeno mixed in here.
Uh-oh.
With my cherry peppers. They might be a little spicy, who knows. This little plant, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's sick and he has one pepper on him. But I got some peppers coming later. Look, there's some beautiful peppers. I'm gonna have them. I have regular bell peppers, pepperoncinis, the cherry peppers, big red pepper. I love the big red ones. Did I say jalapenos? Got a couple different pepper kinds and they're all doing well, except for that one little plant.
Okay.
Okay, carrying along with my jungle theme, this plant is called Borage. And I have it in here for a couple reasons. It's pretty, but do you see all those flowers? The bees love them. They come in like crazy after these flowers. You can actually eat those flowers too. They almost taste a little bit like a cucumber. They have a cucumber taste to them. But then this plant, when it's done flowering, before it goes to seed, I'll chop it off and I can use it as fertilizer, put it around my plants. See, the bees love it. They're in here. You got to be careful around these plants. Well, thanks for joining me as I did my morning chores in the tunnel. So now I got to get the flowers ready for pick your own bouquet. So we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.